What's up, YouTube? What's up, Raider Nation? It's 510 Raider. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. And because I had to prepare for Thanksgiving, I wasn't able to get a video out on my thoughts on the Bronco game. So I'm going to do this video a little different. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Bronco game and the Chiefs game. Now, I was very hopeful on the Bronco game. I'm not saying that I expected to win, but knowing that the Broncos don't play nearly as well on the road as they do in Denver, and that Bo Nix didn't perform on the road himself, I was hopeful that that would be the game that we end this losing streak. Unfortunately, it's not how it went down. It was our first time getting swept by the Broncos in 10 years. It wasn't the funnest feeling, especially seeing the way Sean Payton and the rest of the team celebrated once the clock hit all four zeros. And one thing I want to do is give a shout out to Gardner Minshew. I do hope he has a speedy recovery. I know a lot of you don't like him simply because of how his play has gone. I get it. I understand it. However, as a fan, I never wish injury on our players. And despite his subpar performance this season, basically turning the ball over every game, the only thing I ask for from any player on our team is to go out there, give it their all, and play their ass off. And that's what Minshew did. So if that was his last game in a Raider uniform, I know he's under a 2-year contract, but things change every offseason. So if that was his last game, thank you for giving it your all. What I did expect in that Denver game was for the game to be close. I know Denver has a top 5 defense, so I was curious to see how Scott Turner was going to call the game. I'm glad we were able to move the ball, just like in the first game. Unfortunately, as always, can't get in the end zone. I didn't expect Bo Nix to play as well as he did. He was smart to keep attacking our rookie cornerback. It was just frustrating that it seemed like our defense just couldn't get off the field for a little bit of time. So I was actually surprised when the defense was able to get a stop towards the end of the game. When, basically after Minshew got hurt and then Ritter had to go into the game, I wasn't expecting the offense to drive down the field either. Simply because we don't know how much of the playbook he knows, but he did his thing. It looked like he was enjoying throwing passes again to his college wideout, Trey Tucker. It's just unfortunate that it ended in a loss. By the next day, by that following Monday, I was curious to know if Aiden O'Connell would actually be ready to go for Friday's game against Kansas City. I was curious to see how Scott Turner would call that game with AOC as his quarterback. He's not a mobile guy. He's a prototypical pocket passer. What I did expect in the Chief game was for the team to go out there and play hard. However, that doesn't mean that I was expecting a close game. I was hoping that it would. I'm glad that it was. It's just a team can go out there, play hard, and still get blown out. It sometimes has nothing to do with effort. I was very, very pleased with our performance Friday afternoon in Kansas City. Not only was it one of Aiden O'Connell's best performances of his young career, it was the Raiders' best performance of the season. The only phase that really didn't show up was the kicking game. Daniel Carlson missing 3 field goals. I was just very pleased with the defense sacking Patrick Mahomes 5 times, holding him to 19 points in his house. Our defense is missing a number of starters, and it was very pleasing to see them step up to the challenge on a nationally televised game. I think what's crazy is our defense played better against Patrick Mahomes than they did Bo Nix. Offensively, I enjoyed seeing the running game get going. We had over 100 yards rushing. That helped the play calling. That helped the offensive line. I believe it was the 3rd game in a row the Raiders had the same starting offensive lineman. And his performance showed. It was actually an improved performance compared to what we've seen all season long. I enjoyed Turner's play calling. I noticed he did a lot of rollouts with AOC. And the reason why I like those play calls, because him rolling out the pocket, it made him run away from the pressure where he was able to sit there with time and go through his progressions. In the first half of the game, I was like, okay, cool. It's a close game. In that third quarter is when I was like, damn, it's already 16-3. But it was nice to see the offense march right down the field on back-to-back drives. They get that first touchdown. Defense forces a 3-and-out. Then on that second drive, it was a beautiful play. That bomb to Trey Tucker. He was finally able to showcase his speed. For me, what actually made Trey Tucker's touchdown to take the lead a little priceless was actually hearing Al Michaels on the television. The Oakland Raiders. Well, now the Las Vegas Raiders. I was like, gotcha. Don't try to correct yourself. You said it. He even laughed at himself. But I was happy for Aiden O'Connell and his performance. 23 of 35, 340 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Aiden O'Connell outperformed Patrick Mahomes. That's what was awesome to see. When the Raiders were going for that final drive to potentially win the game, I was like, no freaking way are we actually going to do this. Me, I'm always waiting and anticipating that critical mistake that costs us a game. I never know what the mistake's going to be. I wasn't crazy about them going for the field goal because Daniel Carlson had already missed 3. And even though Carlson is usually money, every player has a bad game. Unfortunately, that was his bad game. Now, on that final play, I noticed the botch snap and the fumble right away, and I was even like, damn it. And then one of my buddies was like, no, dead ball, it's a dead ball. It's a dead play, we keep the ball. And then when the refs were doing their little conference, he's like, oh no, you're really going to talk about it like that? You're just going to think of a reason to give the Chiefs the ball and give them the game. And when that happened, my reaction was just, it was a loss that actually had me down for a little bit. Simply because we played so damn well. Like I said, it was our best performance of the season. I mean, hell, for better words, it was our cleanest performance of the season. One thing I wish we would have had video of Jackson Powers Johnson in the locker room in the post game, because I'm assuming it was a ref, but I just noticed how he was just cursing like hell. He was pissed, and rightfully so. It just sucked to play the Chiefs that well in their building, the back-to-back defending Super Bowl champions, to literally have them on the ropes and to lose in that fashion. In the 2 games we played them this year, we lost by a combined 9 points. When you have a 2-10 record, losing by a combined 9 points in 2 games really isn't bad. In a weird way, I enjoyed seeing AP's frustration, the emotion from AOC, the emotion from Max Crosby. It's because what it's showing is they care. I heard all week Antonio Pierce say, this team is ready. We know who we're going up against. We know what this game is about. We're ready. And then seeing a performance like that, and then the way that they lost, and then seeing the players emotional, pissed off, that told me that what AP said during the week was all true. And I like how former Raider Lincoln Kennedy said that how this team has no quit. They're still going out there playing hard for Antonio Pierce. And what that tells him is that this coaching staff needs another year. And I do agree with that. There's a lot of people that want him fired. But we got to quit firing head coaches left and right, because how's that really worked out for us? I understand that it's not the easiest thing for a first-time head coach to do when you're in a division where every head coach is either a Super Bowl champion or they've been to a Super Bowl. And that's the pressure Antonio Pierce has. He coaches against Jim Harbaugh twice a year now. He coaches against Sean Payton twice a year. And, of course, Andy Reid twice a year. It's a tough task. And overall, I heard some of the Raiders insiders saying, Raider Nation, you should be proud of your Raiders for their performance on that Friday. I get where they're coming from. It's just hard to go that far and say, oh, I'm proud of you because they lost. That's why I just say it was pleasing to see them perform the way that they did. I was happy that they went out there and performed well. If they would have came out with the W, then I would have said, oh my God, I'm proud of their performance in front of a national audience. The one thing that really made the Chiefs' loss suck was just having to see on social media officially eliminated from playoff contention, even though we all saw it coming with the record. Off top of that, that means 8 losses in a row. I believe that is the 4th longest losing streak in Raider history. The longest losing streak is 19. Behind that, it's 16. Behind that, it's 11. That's why I hope we get a win soon, because I don't even want to tie 11. At the end of the day, we just got to take it game by game these last 5 weeks and just hope they can manage to get as many wins as they can. But that's all I got for y'all this week. As always, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend.